Okay, so one of the more challenging things to do is looking at electron micrographs. Remember, these are pictures taken using an electron microscope and trying to figure out what you're actually looking at. So with these, I've given you I've told you it's an animal cell. And so now you need to kind of look for some clues here. So, I mean, it's pretty clear looking at this must be the nucleus. Okay, it's kind of big. So, and then I remembered about the nucleolus is kind of the dark spot in here. So, so the nucleolus is here, right? This would be the nucleus. And then there's kind of other stuff around here. Now, if you zoom in, you can't zoom in too much here, but you see these little lines, and they look like they have little dots on them, right? So this is the rough ER, okay? So that's the rough ER. Sorry, let me just change the colors there. And then the other things here, they look kind of round. Now they're not the best picture, and generally you'll get better pictures in this, so I've made this one kind of hard. These kind of look here, and they look like they have little squiggles, and there's a whole bunch of them are mitochondria. Mitochondrion, if you have one, a whole bunch of mitochondria. If you kind of look down here, you can see, like, so these look kind of rough with all the dots, but notice kind of in this area here, you don't really see the dots as much. Again, it's hard to see, but that's smooth ER. And generally speaking, the pictures you'll get from the IBO will be much better than this. I'm just making life kind of difficult for you. So those are the different things, at least in this animal cell. Now, the thing to kind of consider here is, like, if you think about it, this animal cell has a whole bunch of rough ER and mitochondria. So, you know, it's making lots of energy, and it's got lots of rough ER. So this is probably a cell that's moving, making lots of proteins and exporting them out of the cell. That's why there's all these mitochondria, like here, everywhere. And all this rough ER is because it's making a lot of protein. Okay, so a lot of the times, how much of something that's there can give you kind of clues about what it does. All right, and then here's another picture, and kind of equally hard to figure out. So, you know, looking at the kind of the most obvious ones here, you can see in this area, you know, this looks like rough ER. Right, notice kind of the little dots looks a lot of like what's up in this area too, up in this picture. This whole area here, kind of this area, and all of this area is the nucleus. Right, that looks pretty obvious. The nucleolus, kind of in the diagram I got this from, says that's the nucleolus. Again, an actual picture is going to be a bit more clear. If you look here, again, looks like these could be some mitochondria. It's not very clear on the inside, but that's not always going to be clear. So those are a couple of things there for those animal cells. Going to the next page, we're looking at plant cell here. So don't worry about the tonoplast. So first thing you notice is this big wide area here, right? That's the vacuole. So, and then here, so if you notice here, those are chloroplasts, okay? So those are chloroplasts. And again, they kind of have like the little pancake structures there. So if you look over here, right, these are chloroplasts also. Looking at the edge here, the outermost one here, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit, is going to be the cell wall. It's pretty thick. And then this one right here, kind of this inner layer along here, is going to be the cell membrane. Okay, so that'll kind of help you figure out that. This area here is more than likely the nucleus, kind of with the nucleolus right here. Again, we see kind of those dark clumps. That's a lot of nucleolus. It's pretty thin, and you would have a hard time seeing this, but you can kind of see the little squiggles like that. That's the mitochondria. So what else did I forget here? I think that's pretty much everything there. And also just the little areas like in here. Right, it's going to be cytoplasm, just kind of all the liquid part of the cell. So plants a little bit trickier to see some of the stuff, but notice this big, huge vacuole here is kind of the distinguishing characteristic of a plant cell. The next thing you need to start looking for are the chloroplasts. So these here and here, and then look for a thick cell wall, and then the thinner cell membrane. All right, so we're going to our last one, which is a prokaryotic cell. So one characteristic is this big bacterial chromosome here. Right? That's a characteristic of a prokaryotic cell. And then looking at the different layers, so kind of looking here, so this outer layer is probably going to be the cell wall. Will be the cell wall, and the inner layer here. Sorry, zoom in here. Why aren't you zooming in? Sorry, it doesn't want to zoom in at the moment. The inner layer here would be the cell membrane. Now this doesn't have pili, but if it did, what your pili would look like is it would have little bits coming off of this. Okay. Sometimes it might have a little capsule out here with things coming off, but that would be a pili. If it had a flagella, which this one doesn't, it would be coming off one of the ends there. Okay? This would be the cytoplasm, and these little dots all around. Some of those could be ribosomes. Okay? That's really about all you can identify with a prokaryotic cell. There's not a lot of options there. So hopefully this kind of helps you pick them out. You'll see some more examples like this, but hopefully that helps. Thank you.